Hello. This time we will talk about linear equation in one unknown. Now, before we talk about the techniques on in solving equations, now here let's look at the table here. Um, if you look at this column, okay, you have x minus 6, and then you have a symbol here x. Okay, x represents a number, but in this case, we don't know the exact values of x. But if we just have x minus 6 and we are not comparing it with any other expressions or values, then in this case it is just algebraic expressions. Now, but if we have x minus 6 equals 8, now then in this case it is an equation. Now, similarly, you can see the other examples. If I have just 2x minus 5 over 6 plus x, this is only an expression. But if we say comparing it with 1 and they are equal in this case, and this is an equation. Now, if you look at the first two examples, you can see there's we usually have a symbol x here. It represents a number, okay, or the number that in this case we don't know the values of this number. Therefore, this is called the unknown in the equation. And then if you look at the first two examples, we have only one symbol here. It means there's only one unknown. Now, if you look at the example 3, now if 2x plus 5y, okay, this is an expression, but this time we have two numbers that we don't know. We don't know the values. And then if we have 2x plus 5y equals 6, now then in this case this is an equation, but this time we have two symbols here, x and y, and then they can represent two different numbers. Now then in this case this is an equation, but there are two unknowns. And then for the meaning of linear, if you look at the power of all these unknown here, if you look at the power, say this is x, it means this is x to the power 1, If you look at the second example, this is x, it means it is x to the power 1, this one is also x to the power 1. And for the third example, there are two unknowns, but if we look at them, x is x to the power 1, y is y to the power 1. Therefore, in this case, we call them linear equations. And I can give you one more examples. If I have an equations like that, x squared, say plus 4 equals 6, then in this case, if you look at the power of x to the power 2, x squared, it is not 1. Therefore in this case this is not a linear equation. And in this chapter you are just going to handle linear equations only. Now let us look at a simple example to see what's the meanings of solving equation. In this chapter you will always see this word solve. Solve an equation. It means you have to find the value of the unknown. Now, usually for an equation, you can reach your table that we can represent this one as a picture like that. It's just like a balance. Now they are equal. Just like a balance, the weights of these two are equal. And then we call x minus 6, okay, the left hand side of the equation, and then 8 is on the right, and therefore this part, okay, this number 8 is on the right hand side of the equation. Now left hand side and right hand side are equal. Now if we look at x minus 6, okay, just look at the left hand side. Now if we just look at this part, if we try to put some values for x, now for example, think if x equals 4, okay, then it means x minus 6, okay, becomes 4 minus 6, which is minus 2, okay. But if we look at the equation, we want to find the values for x such that x minus 6 is 8. Therefore, in this case, minus 2 is not 8. And therefore, 4 is not the value we want. Now, how about if we try another value, okay? Say, for example, if x equals 6. Now then, in this case, x minus 6 becomes 6 minus 6, which is 0. Again, 0 is not 8, and therefore x equals 6 is not, okay, the values that we want. Now, of course, you can try to find the values, okay, for x such that we say that it can satisfy our equation, but it is very time consuming if we just solve the equation by trying values like that, and it may be possible, it may impossible, okay, to solve a more complicated equation in this way. That's why we have, of course, we have some better way to solve the equation. Now let us look at the diagram again. Now, okay, if we want to solve an equation, okay, just let me write down the equation here first. Okay, we want to solve x minus 6 equals 8. And then at the end, okay, I want to know what is x. Therefore, it means at the end I should guess the conclusion, x equals something, a value, okay? Now, therefore, in this case, if you look at this diagram, now on the left hand side we have two items. We can say that we have two items. We have x, and then we have minus 6 here, and then at the end we just want to have x alone. That's why in this case we want to get rid of this minus 6, okay, because it is minus 6, or in other point of view you can consider it as a negative number, negative 6. Therefore we can get rid of it by adding 6, okay, plus 6 on the left hand side. Now if we want to keep the balance, okay, what we have done on the left hand side, we should do the same on the right hand side. Therefore, if I add 6 to the left, then we have to do the same way on the right. Now, therefore, in this case, if we write here, okay, what's the step in a proper way? It means we first have x minus 6, and we want to get rid of this minus 6. Therefore, we add 6 here, and then originally we have 8, but we have plus 6 on the left hand side. Then we have to do the same on the right. Now then, in this case we have minus 6 plus 6. It means it is 0, and then on the right, which is 8 plus 6, which is 14. Of course, we know that x plus 0 is x. Therefore, at the end, I can find the values for x to, we say that, satisfy this equation. Okay, it should be 14. Okay, x should be 14. Then in this case, 14 is called the solution of the equation, or there's another term for it, which is called root. And then you can find these terms in your textbook. Now, you can try to read your textbook again and then try the classwork problems.